Landing in Germany is the first step, but what about the money that you're going to spend here in the first month? People usually sometime overlook it and then they get into trouble. In this video, I will tell you each and every expense that you can expect to have in your first month, and I will share some tips and tricks for you in which maybe that can help you to save some money and to manage your expenses. Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Wasim, and if you are new here, I make videos about life in Germany as a student. I share tips and tricks on how to get settled here quickly, how to find jobs, and how to manage daily life. So let's talk about expenses. When you are new in Germany, it's your first month, the biggest expense that you can expect is the rent. And it's not only the rent. If you find an accommodation here, a place to live, a WG or a studio apartment, you will be expected to give 2 months down payment. It's not a down payment, it's basically the security deposit, which usually is around 2 months to 3 months rent. It could be 1 month if you can request someone, or there could be like an installment situation, but which is very rare, but it's never harmful to at least ask. For example, if your rent is 500 euros, so you can expect to pay 1500 euros in the very first month, which means 500 is your rent for that month and 1000 euros is the down payment. So you can expect to spend around 1000 to 1500 here, depending upon which city you are going and how much is your rent. So if it's your rent is 400, then maybe you will be spending 1200 euros, and if your rent is 700, then it would definitely be around 2000 euros. But you can always negotiate this with your landlord, and I highly recommend that you do it. People usually don't do it because when you are new here and the accommodation situation here is not very good, so as soon as people find a place to live, they just give the money and they say at least we found the place. So I would say that if you can have a bit of negotiation power at your disposal, that's never harmful. At maximum, what you are gonna get is no as an answer. Second major expense, which is also monthly expense, is your health insurance. As soon as you land in the Germany, or as soon as your enrollment has started, if you are coming late, you are supposed to pay your health insurance contribution. If you are under 30, so you can expect to pay around 130 euros a month with TK insurance or AOK. But if you are above 30, then you can expect to spend around 30 to 50 euros a month, and it will start deducting from your account when you have a German bank account here. And until and unless you haven't given them this German bank account, there won't be any transaction. So you can expect to maybe delay it a bit, but I won't recommend it. As soon as you have a bank account and you are getting your blocked account money in your account, it's highly recommended that you start giving your money to all the areas where you're supposed to spend your money. That the first important thing is your rent, and the second is your health insurance, because if you have both of these documents, you have city registration, you have tax documents, only then you will be eligible to apply for jobs and employers will seriously consider you. Suddenly the sun has come out. It's a very rare scene these days, but I will take it. So the third expense that you can expect is the minor one, but it still is there, and that is bank opening. Usually students don't pay when they are students and they are under 30, but if you are going with a very good bank, sometimes they can charge 5 to 10 euros a month, but it will be regularly payment deducted from your account. So as soon as your first block account money transferred to your account, they will deduct it. So it could be 10 euros, 15 euros, but you don't need to expect it. But before all of this, you would definitely need a SIM card, and that highly depends upon your requirement. Usually I would say 15 to 20 GB data is more than enough, but if you don't have an internet at home and you want to just rely on your SIM card, then maybe 30 to 50 GB would be required, and this would cost you around 10 to 20 euros a month. But I would suggest you to not have a contract with any company in the very beginning. So just go with the prepaid SIMs where you pay upfront like we do in Pakistan and India, and then you can use that SIM card. I recommend Leica Mobile. They are very good and their service coverage is also good, and if you want, I will share a link in the description with which you can get a bit of a discount as well permanently. And the SIM after you have the SIM and after you have your bank account open, there could be a situation where you have an accommodation and you don't have an internet. So you can expect to spend around 50 to 100 euros if you don't have an internet at home, which I did not, and I was expecting it won't be so much costly, but I spent around 200 euros because I did not have a router with me. I had to buy a router and a new contract. They have some initial payments and then the first month payment, so I had to spend 200 euros there. So this is also a very important thing if you are having an accommodation. So make sure that you have an internet there, otherwise add that amount into your rent as well. Then the next category is, and that's totally subjective, is the initial shopping or the things that you would require. If you are coming in winter semester, then definitely you would need a good jacket, or maybe you will need a blanket or a duvet at your home or something like that. But if you are coming in summers, then you may need some other things. Maybe you need an umbrella, maybe you need cooking utensils, and it depends upon how many things you have brought from your home. What I usually think and consider is that everybody spends around 100 to 150 to 200 euros on their initial expenses on items. Maybe you will need a laptop, maybe you will need a tablet, maybe you will need a lots of stationery, and maybe you will need clothing items, you will need something to cook, your cooking utensils. So it all depends upon your personal preferences and how many things you have brought from your home. But I would recommend you that before you start purchasing all of these things, there are groups here on Facebook. There is an app here which is called Kleinen Anzeigen, where people usually give away stuff, and not all of that stuff is very bad. So if you want, you can always get utensils from there for free of cost. In my university, I've seen so many times people have placed their utensils which are very good and they can be reused. So instead of going to IKEA and spending 50 to 100 euros on your very first month, I would recommend that you can explore these options. But if time is short and you need something very, very quickly, then I would recommend to go to the good places like IKEA and do not spend so much money on Galleria or something where prices are very, very high. Apart from this, the next major expense will be your grocery items, because this will be your first month. So you will be needing lots of things which you may usually not require every month. For example, oil and salt and sugar. So you can expect to spend a little bit extra in your first month. I spend around 200 euros and my monthly grocery usually is 150. The next expense is, which is also monthly, and it will be started deducting from your account when you have your bank account and you have set up the procedure and given them your IBAN number, and that is your radio bill, which is around 19 euros or 20 euros per month. If you are living alone in your apartment, then you will be responsible for giving it. You can give it 3 months together, you can give them 6 months together, you can give them monthly, and there are a bunch of options. They will send you a letter for it. But if you are living in a shared accommodation like a WG, where 3 or 4 people are living together under one household, then that means that you can share it with them. One person has to pay and remaining you can give it to divide it among yourself. So it's not a big deal, but if you have to pay it yourself, and if you decide to pay 3 months in advance, that means 60 euros in the very beginning. So I just wanted to mention it, like you should add it in your budget if you are going to live alone. And the next category of expenses that you can expect in the very first month is your transportation. If your university is giving you Deutschland ticket and it's included in your semester contribution, and you have already paid your semester contribution, which is your basically semester fee, then you are good to go. You just have to use your university portal and download your Deutschland ticket and you are good to go. But if your university doesn't offer it and your university only gives you the regional ticket and you want a Deutschland ticket, and which I highly recommend everybody to have it, because it gives you a lot of freedom to travel throughout Germany, and it's very easier and convenient in case you want to travel, explore or meet your friends. So you can expect the German ticket is around 60 euros these days, and it will be 68 euros next year. So you can expect 30-35 euros per month to pay for it. If your university is offering it to you, then you are good to go. But if your university is offering you only regional buses, trains and trams, then you may have to upgrade it, and sometimes there is no upgrading option. You have to purchase the full complete Deutschland ticket, and there is no discount for students if you are purchasing it outside your university. So you can expect to have around 60 euros there if you want to purchase it, but that's not compulsory. So all in all, I think if you are bringing around 2000 euros, then you are perfectly good. But if you have already found the accommodation, or if you have a student accommodation, then maybe 1000 euro is also fine, because you would have already paid for your accommodation before coming to Germany. So then 1000 euros would also be fine. But I would recommend that you have some backup in case you do not find a job, or in case you end up in some situation where you will have to find another accommodation, because sometimes you come to a place, you live there, and you find out that no, that place is not good. But it's always good in the very beginning to have a backup plan. So considering you pay 1000 to 1200, 1500 euros for your accommodation, then maybe 100 to 200 euros for your shopping, and 100, 150 euros for your grocery, then 10 to 15, 20 euros or maybe 30 euros for your SIM and your internet. Remaining, you are still left with 100 and 200 euros that could be spent for your insurances and everything else. But meanwhile, in doing all of this, you will definitely get your blocked account back to you, and that will save you the money that you have brought in the very beginning. But it's very crucial that you have at least this much backup in the very beginning. Sometimes your bank account is not working and you cannot get block account to your main bank account in the very first month, then it becomes a bit problematic. I hope you guys liked the video. If you have any questions, please ask in the comment section, and we will see each other in the next video.